Back when I was in school, rap battles started to become popular. Not people at school rapping or in mainstream pop music. Specifically, a generation was being greeted with an entirely new YouTube trend with Meet Epic Rap Battles of History, better known as ERB, ran by Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, and they successfully changed the YouTube landscape forever, for better or for worse, introducing to an entire generation of kids and adults the idea of having two people, real or fictional, hop on a diss track and start a dialogue back and forth, but not in the way it's been traditionally done in pop or hip-hop media. This started on Nice Peter's channel and has been running for 14 years worth of these videos. They range from fantastic, this is my personal favorite out of their collection, to downright awful. This is my personal least favorite out of their collection. The bright side is if one guy's verse sucks, at least it'll be interrupted by his opponent, though in some instances they both suck, so in moments like that I can't really get swept into the rhythm or the vibes of either. For example, they both just loudly emphasize their words, and look, you can just listen to the full thing if you really think I'm wrong. I'm not, but you're welcome to see how correct I am. Anyway, look up Rap Battle today. You'll see plenty of more serious results, but sprinkled in you can see a few more unorthodox videos.
Is that a broken twig I spy?
Yes, I've been tracking a whole trail through these videos. This one honestly surpasses a lot of ERB in production value. I've only ever seen Forrest Gump, but once again, the quality you'll find is unreal. I'd say it's on the same level as ERB's videos. I mean, film is definitely a theme with a lot of these, but don't worry, we've got more. I'd argue fiction is far more common than any of these other ones. Joking aside, the rapper for Vegeta does a better Vegeta impression than most people I've ever met, and that might include Vegeta. The Among Us potion facing off with Grimace? I needed this? I wanted this? In all fairness, I'm not sure what I expected from this one. Now, friend, please pull up a chair. As you can see, we must work on making supper in the background, so in the meantime, let me show you the children of Epic Rap Battles of History.
It's fan-made, but still pretty cool!
Let's talk about the first fan battle I ever saw. I thought it was real or official, seeing it show up on the side with how closely it resembled the ERB thumbnails. You launch the video, it has everything that your standard Epic Rap Battle has. It has the voice announcer, the same font, and even the intricate set and costume design. Just listen to the instrumental and how it builds on itself for this confrontation. There's just one minor detail that most won't be able to pick up on from the lyrics.
Put a smile on that face that just got raped.
Wanna see a magic trick?
Here is your ass, and here's my dick.
Almost every single verse in this video is about non-consensual sex. This isn't a joke, nor did the original uploader realize it because he pulled the video, and what you're seeing now is a re-upload of another upload. This was originally made in 2013, according to the description of the video I found. And while yeah, 2013 was edgier than today, even then, I don't think this could even pass for funny by that time, and Epic Rap Battles of History is nowhere near this sort of like sect of edgy humor. The guys aren't even that bad about reading their lines, it's just the lines are so bad that no acting or delivery can save it. What do Guy Fawkes and Joker even have in common other than both of them were involved in big plots at some point? Joker's entire second verse is about doing anal, and all the other verses hover towards the same subject. Nowadays, people gather in the comment sections talking about how this is hilarious, the creator fell off into obscurity, which to me is honestly a little surprising because he had to have put so much time and effort into this, and there was like real talent used in the video. It just wasn't equally applied anywhere in the lyrics. Alright, this next one is a little bit of a pipeline, but hear me out. You ever watch Supernatural? I haven't. What about whatever show or movie or media Helena is from? Well, I haven't either, because I don't really know the people who are in this battle. I found this by accident while looking through some of the channels I found for this video. This battle is pretty alright. It's just a few kids having fun spitting bars at each other with their favorite characters. I'm not gonna take the moral high ground because I don't really think I could spit fire on the track either. This channel only re-uploads old ERB attempts anyway, so I didn't think I'd find anything here until I found this one single note in the comments. Greg Heffley was fire in this one too. As in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Greg Heffley was in a rap battle. So I managed to find the original battle that Greg Heffley was in, and I have to say, fire was a very poor choice of words to describe Greg Heffley.
Oh, gross. Battling you was worse than being around Fregley. But just like your face, this match is getting ugly. Spit attack so fast, you will not see them come.
I'm honestly speechless, and the thought process behind making this battle is an enigma to me. I don't even think the thought process is the craziest thing about this battle. I think it's definitely, like, well made. Greg is insufferable, but he's also like an antagonistic force inside of his own books, and I don't think Greg knows the ramifications of what he's doing. Anne Frank even slaps Greg during her second verse. If they did it the same way ERB did it with Vader versus Hitler, I think the move would have been doing something on that level to Greg, because he's insanely out of pocket this whole rap battle, though I guess the entire rap battle is just insanely out of pocket for even existing. Weirdly enough, this is more mature than Guy Fawkes versus Joker, though. There's no low blows in the form of wanting to get low on the opponent. Greg crosses the line with every bar, he says, but I think this is a case of kids not fully understanding how serious of a subject this is. Genuinely, I can't find anything about the reaction to this battle or the other one, so I'm guessing this is just a case of some people making a video, having fun, and they learned their lesson from it. Though, if we are talking about a faithful Epic Rap Battles of History matchup, this one fits pretty well, considering there's real history involved, and this battle is infamous. Anime rap battles are everywhere. You didn't need to turn on this video to figure that out. There's too many to cover. Weirdly enough, most of the anime rap battles involve Danganronpa characters. I'm not really sure why. Danganronpa will get a video as soon as I get a new PC, promises for real. Anyway, I chose this skit because somebody elaborately planned it out, and I think they have a pretty good idea of the spirit of ERB. Here, we've got an anime convention rap battle skit, and they've made multiple for various characters. And I picked this one because I know both people from it. It takes the instrumental from Donald Trump versus Scrooge, but their movements are a lot better. They're very much in character going through the role. It helps they're on a stage and not just chilling on a green screen, and it helps the crowd is very much so invested as to what's happening. There's not much to see here other than it's strangers role-playing as anime characters, but weirdly enough, I do think this has better production value than some of the ERB videos. For sure the Batman one at the very least. And I think this is the most real of the anime ones. The series just kind of kept the fun of the original with a bunch of people having fun at a con, and I think there's something nice about it, assuming that the con wasn't anything similar to DashCon. The last one we're talking about here is kind of a bonus, since this isn't really some random corner on the internet you've never seen, nor does it have any shock value. It's Red and Link from Good Mythical Morning. They're not strangers to making musicals, so their attempt at a rap battle is honestly the direction I wish ERB took with their videos. If you watch Epic Rap Battles of History from John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly, I'm not sure why that was a matchup either. Maybe they were both conservative. To Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris today, their latest one all the way through, you'll notice that they've never changed the structure or style of the rap battles, and they've only tried to keep witty commentary and catchy tracks as the only constant. They would occasionally utilize storytelling as a better way to frame the conflict, but weirdly enough, this is something that's fallen off from their channel almost entirely. And all the other channels that make rap battle style content tend to do that storytelling bit better. Geek vs. Nerd just hyperfixates on two extreme sects of internet culture that have virtually, and in reality, no contact with each other except on Twitter. I don't know the difference between the two after watching the video over and over to talk about it here. When the nerd disses the geek, he says go back to Reddit, but dude, back then, all of these guys were on Reddit. This is the Reddit rap battle. Both of all of their verses are Reddit coded. They've talked about Renaissance fairs, Dungeons and Dragons, cosplay, video games, Apple, Android, syncing devices, terrible internet memes, this is all very much Reddit coded. All they need to do is talk about Keanu Reeves or Big Chungus or Dogecoin or Doge, and then it would solidify it. Though even back then, I just don't think any of these guys are that different. They're so similar in how they're absorbed with their hobbies that genuinely I can't imagine these two groups getting into conflict. If you find anything about these two groups having beef, please send it, because in real life, I've never met anybody from either of these sects having any conflict outside of not liking each other. Speaking of sending things, shout out to the guy who explained Venom without Eddie is just called the symbiote. Anyway, the rap just doesn't really make sense on how the nerd and the geek are different. It very much just applies the same format that ERB has in all their videos, but at least they have a bunch of different sets as opposed to a green screen background or weird graphics or just something that doesn't work aesthetically. This does work aesthetically. It's creative, it's fun, and I like how they have other people involved that aren't like maybe like one or two YouTuber Easter eggs. For me, the real winner of the battle is the robot.
No one get the Shatner about their skinny beans. Do you even know what URL means?
Alright, it's time for an ingredient. Let's talk about Uber Rap Battles of Fiction, or URBO for short. Now we're doing some archaeology here, since they haven't uploaded in a year. In addition, I thought these guys were interesting since they've done a lot of rebrands in the form of creating new series repeatedly, but still have their oldest videos up, which is appreciated. Their first videos have no discussion whatsoever, which stupefies me because this is very much peak 2013 with everything about them. And not only did the bars go hard, I was laughing very hard to match in a good way. They have a note on the description about this battle and its age and how their new content is a lot better. So let's skip ahead a little while. It's not really fair to talk about this. This was their first attempt, and for their first attempt, I think it's clean. I think the easiest way to see URBO's growth would have to be comparing Phoenix Wright versus Atticus Finch 1 versus 2. So the first matchup went like this, and it came out as the third battle of their entire series.
Ace Attorney, I'm glad that you can make it. You'll be trembling when I'm done, so why don't you just face it? Your record's been tarnished since you were in the 4th grade. Yes, you have a daughter, but you've never been laid. Please take a stand, cause we're taking to jail. I can see the headline now, 8-bit attorney failed. You'd be better off dating your best friend, but I'd expect you to fight, but you don't have the guts.
Now let's take a look at the sequel 38 episodes later with how the battle kicks off.
I wanted you to see what real skill is, so here I am, with legal laws on my side as the judge's gavel slams. I may have combed through your files and I thread what I found. Ace Attorney makes your master self will knock out of town.
This might rival Risk of Rain 1 and 2 in terms of transitions and improvements to an overall game. The ending isn't even fair since Atticus Finch gets double teamed, but I don't remember much of To Kill a Mockingbird, so I don't know if it was fair for him when he got clowned on at the end of the book with losing the case. Now moving forward more into the future, there's actually lore for Uber Rap Battles of Fiction to explain why they rebooted their initial rap battle series in the form of Kefka vs. Gygas 2. It's 13 minutes long, so I'm not sure who here is interested in a lore breakdown of something like that, but basically, Kefka and Gygas acknowledge their original battle, and then it starts as a rap battle, and then it ascends to a rap royale with a whole lot of characters you can see on this list and who played them. I don't recognize most of them, but there's more rappers to follow. You may notice that the list ends with Sans, who, unlike everyone else on the list, is not a villain. Well, the reason behind that is Sans shows up to kill every single villain in the rap battle, which then causes Flowey, the flower guy from Undertale, to show up to systematically absorb the souls of every villain who just got murked by Sans. Flowey tries to beat Sans repeatedly and keeps dying, and that's sort of just how the battle ends. So despite being called Kefka vs. Gygas 2, it's really Flowey versus Sans, but the battle really focuses more on Flowey's character development with absorbing the soul of every villain who fought here, and the lore doesn't continue until the first major reboot, GLaDOS vs. Neo #1, which is released after where Flowey ends up resetting the URBO timeline because he can't beat Sans, so now everything is happening but different. And Neo was in the very first rap battle of the series, which I think played into their decision on how to do that. Now continuing, there were 2 episodes listed as number 2, which made me confused for most of my notes until I realized that 1 is color-coded, which is nice. And 2, Alexander the Great versus Link says dash rap battle, as opposed to Megamind versus Syndrome having dash uber rap battle number 2. This is how most of Urbof's battles continued, with a few interruptions from epic Pokemon rap battles in the other series. He made what I believe is another reboot in the form of ERB 0, or Uber Rap Battle 0, but I don't know the lore implications or why the timeline was even reset again. Though, funny enough, he made a better Dr. Seuss rap battle than Epic Rap Battles of History. Compare the two. Check out this one.
So I gotta square up against a mutton to rap. Well, the cat in the hat knows a lot about that. I know some good games we could play.
Said the cat?
So take a show and shove straight up your PBS. This and this super fun difference feline, and I don't got a contract. I promise you'll be fine.
And let's see a segment of the ERB version.
Would not, could not on a boat. Read any of the boring ass plays you wrote. Even Horton doesn't want to hear you. And Cindy Lou Who is afraid to go near you. You bore people to death. You leave a classroom looking like the Animeme Rap.
At the very least, he beat out the two things that did the rapping in ERBs. Personally, for as interesting as this channel is as a guy's attempt at a rap MCU universe with multiple different rap lines, I think he hit his peak with the last serious rap battle he made, which is a shame. He just made 2 goofy battles afterwards and then quit and didn't pursue it anymore. Cabinet Man vs. Spamton is an interesting case. Do you remember Neil Cicierga? He made Harry Potter Puppet Pals, and he made the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Cabinet Man is a song about a video game Cabinet Man hybrid that Neil made, and it's so interesting for this to be the only characterization I've seen of the character be from this random rap battle where he disses Spamton from Deltarune/Undertale. Everything about this battle is so clean, and you wouldn't be able to tell it's the same guy who made Neo vs. Anakin all those years ago. The lyrics show a knowledge of the source material, and overall I think it's his best work. Now, the channel remains as a time capsule of a forgotten child of ERB, and I'm happy I found it to share with you all. And it's interesting how all of this stuff remains up, and this, guy's entire Odysseus creative just quest he's gone through. Urbo is still around, though, I think. He guest starred as Squidward in SpongeBob vs. Captain Underpants for Animation vs. Anything. I don't know if he's had any battles where he's taken on a rapper role, but he at the very least was a feature. He might return one day, or he might just keep doing random guest appearances like the stranger from Fallout 3, but I'm wishing him the best. I like how he attempted this, greater expanding universe with so many different, lines in his channel. Oh yeah, this one is a doozy. But it's more so a disaster in the kitchen. If you don't know what Animeme is, it's essentially what if bottom text memes were animated, and it has nothing to do with Animeme_TV. If this came out a year ago, it would have exploded on TikTok and exploded on YouTube Shorts in some weird post-irony meta humor. In fact, if the guy ever comes back to the channel, I'm certain he'd be able to get millions of views with it, since I feel like people would just eat this up nowadays despite none of it being funny anymore, and I'm not really sure if it was funny back then. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, that looks very unfunny and old, Yawn. What does this have to do with rap battles? Well, Animeme had 2 seasons worth of rap battles you might have seen. We're just going to talk about a few. Season 1 is all about rap battles between your favorite memes. Some of these rap battles are on other channels for some reason, but let's go through Season 1 first. So, the battles always start with the host Alex hyping you up, showing off the rappers and their stats. So, Nyan Cat versus Grumpy Cat, to me, might be one of the worst battles I have in this video. It might be my least favorite, actually. For some reason, despite revolving around cats, Nyan Cat's lyrics have a bit of Guy Fawkes versus Joker vibe, since Nyan Cat spends most of his bars talking about sets and his penis, even though he's a cat. When I was listening to the video, I was so confused as to why Nyan Cat would just be obsessed with sets, until I read the description to see Shane Dawson played Nyan Cat. You ever think art imitates life or life imitates art? This is one of those situations. As for who voiced Grumpy Cat, I can't really tell what their channel is about or what they did. I think that's a subject for another video entirely. Anyway, the video ends with the who won, who's next, but instead of it being characters from the battle dancing, it's this random woman who's trying to draw attention from the fact you just watched an Animeme rap battle. I'm not sure who won, but It's just so grating. Like, it's not clever, it's not funny. I can't get over how much Shane Dawson focused on sets and his lyrics and references to really, really unfunny references to pop culture. I guess it makes sense for Animeme, but even then, I have no clue what they were thinking for this. I'm going to level with you guys. I have no memory of either of these memes. Personally, I think they're both awful, but this rap is a lot better than the last one at least, so it gets points for that. Here, we had another celebrity appearance with Tobuscus, of all people, playing Courage Wolf. I think this was supposed to be the big epic battle of Season 1. I don't know what order these actually got released, though. But I think this one gets points for being better writing than Guy Fawkes versus Joker. To me, I can't believe this never got talked about since Tobuscus used to rule the world back in the day. I still remember watching his Ether mod playthrough. It's pretty standard, they just yell at each other, make jokes and references. They actually fight in the video, which is nice. They fight in Shane Dawson versus Grumpy Cat, but here it's much more like an actual fight. It's nothing that you'd like want to watch over and over for the fight, but it's nice that they have like animation for it. I think Insanity Wolf won. At the very least, his lines were way funnier, and I think he was better at the rapping part as opposed to Tobuscus, which is really all these battles amount to most of the time. I'm not sure why they chose to have multiple celebrity appearances, but I think at the very least Tobuscus was an inoffensive pick back then. I don't know what he's done now. He could be in controversy or he cannot. But Tobuscus is an interesting enough guy to where I think it could have only served as a benefit, but I find it weird that I never heard of it at all. I heard zero contact between Tobuscus and anybody else. I find it weird that nobody has ever talked about how Tobuscus voiced Courage Wolf in this random meme rap battle. Okay, the last Season 1 battle we'll talk about. You know, I'm not sure who this appeals to, but this is probably the closest we'll get to me talking about your favorite Martian, because I think this is racist. I can't tell, and honestly, I'm not Korean, so I don't even know if I can comment on this one without getting canceled. I don't vibe with the animation. I think it looks a lot cheaper than the animation for the last two battles. I like the novelty of this being in existence. This sounds like something you'd make up to show your friend, or some random weird skit you'd see on TikTok that says like Korea lore above it. I think Kim Jong-un killed Psy by a landslide. His verses were better, and his first line is just hilarious to me. It's crazy to me the different quality between all three of these episodes alone. Like, praise or diss the other rap battle channels all you want, but with Animeme, you have no idea what you're going to get. The other battles are just memes fighting to varying quality. There's Slenderman, who of course you'd heard of, and Unwanted House Guest, which I had never heard of until these videos. They're kind of stretching meme definition there, because the only Slenderman meme I can think of is people screaming in YouTube Let's Plays back then. For Unwanted House Guest, I'm certain this guy was just never real until Animeme made this video about him. I have zero recollection of this guy, and even then, when you look him up nowadays, most of the results are from Animeme. I think they're the people who put him in the public consciousness, but at the very least, the battle's fine. There's Forever Alone versus Overly Attached Girlfriend, and those are real stale, I can tell you that. And Forever Alone just gets friend-zoned the whole time, while Overly Attached Girlfriend says Forever Alone memes. There's The Most Interesting Man versus the Old Spice Guy, which is my favorite out of this series. The one just doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's fun, and it's great, and it's funny. Now we gotta talk about Season 2, because this is my least favorite battle series I found for the video. I think this was the first of the new season, and unfortunately, it is the new season, which is a real shame because it's not good. Slenderman and Insanity Wolf are both contenders from Season 1, and they're both scary, so they yell at each other. The beat just isn't hype, it's kind of weird and slow, you can't really get too pumped up listening to it. The animation is nice, but that's really all the positives I have to say about it. Season 2 has this feature where everybody tends to rap slow. It's not that bad in this one, but I thought I should mention it ahead of time. The only important thing to note is that also kicks off lore for Animeme Season 2 here, since during the battle, Slenderman stabs Insanity Wolf's brain repeatedly, and also Insanity Wolf just straight up kills Slenderman for some reason. How is this real? By canon, Insanity Wolf won the battle because he literally killed his opponent. Maybe this season just isn't the same in quality since they're missing the dancing girl and scantily clad clothing at the end of every episode. Maybe that's why it's worse, but Slenderman versus Insanity Wolf, though, just doesn't have anything real going for it. It doesn't have anything to make me ever come back outside of I watch it once and I'm like, yeah, neat animations. I didn't like the song. I don't really think these guys are that clever or funny. Let's move on. I should have just covered another video game. This is like a rap battle royale where the ponies clown on Ash and all the other people from Pokemon. It's terrible. I mean, look, say what you will about the cringe factor on any of these battles or the characters, but this one just hurts to watch. I think the reason is it's just so weird how the beat or the lyrics or flow just doesn't resemble a battle at all. It just all feels so stilted. It sounds like my grandma's old vacuum cleaner when they're having that spinning around sound playing. None of the jokes are funny. Literally none of them are funny. I think there's like zero rhythm or like you can't jam to this. To my knowledge, it doesn't appeal to either Pokemon fans or My Little Pony fans. So I don't even know who this one was made for. It ends with Meowth showing up and the joke is that he's a pimp and then the battle just ends. Once again, I don't think anybody won here. What can I even say other than I don't know why they kept this series going when everything here is such a huge departure in quality from even Nyan Cat versus Grumpy Cat, dude. Like, I get it, they're both memes, but is there really enough, like, meme factor to have this battle work or be funny or interesting to anybody who isn't, like, all in on Pokemon stuff? Because don't get me wrong, the internet loves Pokemon, and a small, very vocal section of the internet loves My Little Pony. And I just don't see anything here for anybody to enjoy. I was trying to decide on which battle I wanted to cover. There was Minecraft versus Lego, which has the perk of being the best battle in Season 2. There's Doge versus Hello Kitty, which despite me not enjoying, did make me laugh in this wonderfully aged line.
Yo, Reddit, you're macho! So pack your bags, hit the street and start begging for upvotes!
And there's Iron Man versus Batman, which I wanted to talk about since that kind of gave away that this isn't even about memes. What Iron Man meme do you know, dude? And the only Batman meme I can think of is when he slaps Robin, or that AI-generated comic that says Alfred gives birth to Robin to fight the Joker. So anyway, with that disclaimer out of the way, we're talking about Mike and Sully versus Rocket and Groot, which is perfect timing because Marvel Rivals just came out at time of recording. And by the way, I don't think either of these guys are memes. This one gets the distinguishment of having the weirdest audio mixing ever and the biggest pauses randomly throughout. And it's not even funny. I don't think this would have been funny back then either. It has a few things going for it. I like the part where Groot says his name 3 times. But I can't get over they managed to get this funded and approved for a 10-episode series, with this being one of the episodes. The quality is just night and day versus even the other ones in Season 2. The audio just makes zero sense, and behind the scenes, something had to have happened for this to play out this way. The only thing this has going for it is the animation, but it's just terrible. It's just awful to listen to, and what Monsters Inc. memes do you guys know out of like Wazowski or just stuff from the movie? Better question, what Rocket and Groot memes do you guys know? I have never seen one of those, ever. There might be some now with Marvel Rivals, but other than that, I can't think of any memes between those two guys. But wait, I almost forgot. There's still the Battle Royale finale. Okay, here's the lore behind the battle lead-up. They're taking the best of the best from the previous matchups and putting them in a Battle Royale. Here's the list if you're curious about all the contenders who show up. The battle kicks off with our host Alex welcoming us to the season finale, and this is probably one of the better episodes of Season 2, which I am happy about. Mario and Luigi show up making the same jokes they made in their original battle. I didn't cover it, you're not missing out on anything. Steve from Minecraft comes in for the kill, and Steve has the distinguishment of having the best battle of Season 2. It doesn't matter though, because Kanye West shows up to clown on Steve and Keanu Reeves, even though Keanu Reeves didn't even make it to the Royale, before Kanye West gets trampled by My Little Pony, which then leads to Doge killing her. The Doge and Hello Kitty battle is something I could make like my own video about with how much I did not enjoy it. But then Meowth arrives, and before Meowth has a chance to continue rapping about Dogecoin, Mike and Sully show up and start saying how they're badder than Bruce Wayne. Then some random people I've never seen from the X Factor show up. There's supposed to be 10 episodes released for season 2, but since there's only 9, my guess is they took this battle down. I'm not worried, though. I have zero idea who these guys are. I think they're like a pop band group, but my guess is that they're just more so lost media adding to the pile. The X Factor guys died at Elsa, which then leads to Batman showing up, pulling some shenanigans to kill all of them, and the other remaining contestants. Finally, before we can stop talking about the series, Insanity Wolf shows up, but because Slenderman, like, poked his brain, he starts rapping against his reflection, and it's revealed that this whole season was a big plot by either Baby Godfather or Boss Baby. I don't know which meme it is, but his plan was to kill every single one of the meme contestants. There's ways to make a rap battle royale work. I think the one everybody enjoys is Stalin versus Rasputin, since people I know who didn't have to hear about Epic Rap Battles nonstop when it came out still know about that battle. But this is not an example on how this can work. Everything is stale, nothing is funny. The music is better in this one than it is in some of the other season 2 ones. The jokes aren't funny. They reuse some of the same jokes. The animation is cool, yeah, but the lyrics and music is just so stilted. Why even have the rap battle? Just make it like a death battle showdown or whatever. Animeme quit uploading not too long after that with just occasional uploads, but I think they're still around in the form of Yo Mama. Now, what is Yo Mama? Well, I'll show you a clip, but it won't take you very long to figure it out.
Yo mama's so freaking poor. She had to win Squid Game 5 times just to break even.
Now, I'm happy they found something that worked, and honestly, Yo Mama, even with the very nature of it being an older joke format like Animeme, is infinitely funnier than Animeme and Animeme Rap Battles. Animeme Season 2 is the worst this list has to offer. Bone Apple Tea, it's time for the next battle, and wait a second. We've seen this one already. It has everything the original had. They said fan-made, but still pretty good, like the original did. They used the same why so serious visual effect. The only difference is that their rapping doesn't have them talking about dicking down each other over and over. Fightmarker is in a very weird spot, because while he initially started out as just making random rap battles, he's moved into an entirely new plane of existence. He's a weird pseudo-meta commentary that works for the genre, because I haven't seen anyone else do it. So with his earlier work, yeah, it's just Whiteface versus Trollface, or Eminem versus Edgar Allan Poe, and they're not bad by any means. They're just, they're just regular rap battles a guy made. But his other uploads are a lot more interesting with how he chooses to approach the media he talks about. I believe Fightmarker knows exactly what he's doing with his videos, which may make me schizophrenic, but I do genuinely believe that. And they're all, like, well made. You can tell he put work into them. All the writing is there, but the subject matter for this battle is just ridiculous. With this first one, everybody knows the Amazing Digital Circus has the following of the universe because a few video essayists compared it to a modern adaptation of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which of course, everybody knows from the adaptation of the story created by Wendigoon. Though, I initially thought Preston's Hourglass was completely made up, but he's another section of mascot horror that's yet to explode in popularity because not enough horror YouTubers have checked out his game, so he's making his career now as a rapper. If you look up Preston's Hourglass, almost all of the results are about him rapping instead of his game. Fightmarker took the most popular new mascot in the space, Pomni, and put her up against a sentient Mr. Peanut who just completely annihilates her on the track. I don't even know if I'm doing this justice. I don't even know what the point of this battle is or if it's a joke in itself. But I think it has to be something nuanced that I don't understand about how indie creation and like some sort of thoughtful commentary on it. Because this matchup just has no correlation. If there's some sort of message or commentary or like punchline to the joke even, I just can't figure it out because I'm so separated from this group. Why is Preston so popular but only for these rap battles? What does he have to do with mascot horror and resurrecting it? Why is Pomni in this battle at all? What involvement does she have? She's not survival horror or mascot horror. This battle just raises questions, but I see this as evidence to Fightmarker knowing what he's doing with something, and it's good. Oh my god, is that Filthy Frank versus Eric Andre? Yeah, this is what you'd expect, but it's a pretty good impression for both sides through and through. Fightmarker has to be a huge Eric Andre and Filthy Frank fan because he certainly did his homework, or at the very least read a very detailed explanation of both of them. It's funny, that's something a lot of the battles tend to forget is a little important with making these like crazy, goofy matchups, is it kinda has to be funny, and it is. I think my example of a battle that should be funny that just isn't is Epic Rap Battles' giant comedian rap battle royale, which just is not funny at all. Though I'd argue this battle is funnier and wittier than anything ERB has ever made. It's crude, it doesn't have a message, and it's so high profile they even got Mr. Beast, but I learned like a couple months ago this is in fact not the real Mr. Beast. He is like a Mr. Beast guy. In terms of meta-analysis, there's none on surface level. It's just two goofy guys who happen to have their humor based on being crude and out of pocket towards strangers and themselves. But everything about the video is so funny with how it all works. It could be a real Eric Andre skit with what they did, and there's so many references to both the fan rap battle community and the subject material itself. I just can't get over how Fightmarker, this channel I had never heard of, is better at comedy than Epic Rap Battles of History has ever been. Okay, this one is just made for children. I won't even like try to make an argument about it not being for kids. This one is just for children. It's literally Skibbity Toilet versus the pilot of an obscure show that never got released that focuses around making childhood characters spooky. Is what I would say if this wasn't so clever with its weird meta podcast commentary, but I do kind of still think it's for kids. It's a pretty normal rap battle, normal as it can be, with Skibbity Toilet and Pibby going against each other, where they make fun of each other until the battle ends, where you're met with the weirdest part of it all.
Did you hear about the best rap battle ever?
Skibbity Toilet versus Learning with Pibby, right?
Dude, yes.
Who do you think won?
Tough call. Skibbity Toilet came in with such raw energy.
And Learning with Pibby had those educational bars.
I think there should be someone else that should be added to the verbal clash.
I'm thinking John Pork.
What about Larry the Leprechaun?
Or maybe Cemetery Mary.
Or what about Garden of Ban?
No, I actually wouldn't like that at all.
He literally calls out his own satire with mentioning how Preston should have been added to the bout, with Pomni as Cemetery Mary. But anyway, yeah, Jumbo Josh from Garden of Ban. Don't ask, you don't want to know. I had to educate myself for this part too. It's a crazy mascot horror rabbit hole. They decide to hop on the beat because it's what Jumbo Josh declares would improve the song. Jumbo Josh adds a lot to the battle, and the most interesting part is that he has his own indie horror mascot tier list, where he's not even at the top, but at the very least, it helped me solidify that Preston was a real thing from mascot horror and not just a rap creation. I'm not entirely sure what this is trying to convey about the rap battle genre, on how it's just a big mascot throwdown for many of these channels, or if real horror is dead. One thing I took away is that a lot of these channels will just keep adding characters to battles, making them longer and longer, and most of the time it doesn't work, and I think this does a good example on why that doesn't work when they do it. But I like the fact that they even did this in the first place, this weird meta section. This makes Fightmarker and his channel so much more interesting with the commentary they're saying on both the community and on content itself. I think if it were to say one opinion, it would probably be with how content farmy a lot of content can be in the horror space, and it works. The commentary here does work. You can pick up that they're trying to say something, and it works better than other channels because I think he takes such a drastically different approach, and he just takes the piss out of himself too, with even having Jumbo Josh come in and just start spitting bars. He's still making stuff today, and I'd highly encourage you to watch his videos because I think whatever he's doing is interesting, and I think it's going to blow up, at the very least to the point where some meme format will be affected because of Fightmarker's work. I remember hearing about Epic Rap Battle Parodies because these guys, when I was younger, got clowned on for releasing the same matchup that Epic Rap Battles released, from the hit single Mozart vs. Skrillex, which they released before ERB. Now, I'm not going to act like Epic Rap Battle Parodies broke the mold or anything with this release, but I think it's important to remember that a lot of people's love for ERB's work comes from nostalgia. Case in point, I don't really see much difference between these two performances.
Think your little instruments can take me for a stand? I'll break into your home, smash and kidnap the stands. Oh, I'm sorry, by policy I can't get with a man. Millions are at my concert, so I have fun with only one fan.
You might have been a genius, but you died for broken worthless. I'm rich and claimed and famous. I'm on playlist, I'm the A-list. You're the famous, kiss my ass. Amadeus.
Maybe I'm an Epic Rap Battle of History hater, but I didn't really think their battle was anything great. And at the very least, the parody channel thought of it first. But honestly, I think these guys got too much hate early on in their career because I like how their videos aren't just PNGs with text on them for the rap battle. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd say we just call this channel a relic of its time and then move on to the end of the video. But what's interesting about these guys is that despite starting out as a parody channel, I view them as objectively better than the real deal now with their evolution. So let's talk about how they got there. So this video is what I believe to be their magnum opus for the longest time. But what I failed to realize is that even with almost 3 million views, it's not their most popular video. You may be able to guess by the timestamp this isn't just a regular rap battle, and you'd be correct in that because we've got another Kefka vs. Gygas 2 feature list. With Kurt Cobain? Now, I don't even know what to say to describe the battle. I think the cast list kind of explains it. It doesn't play out to any larger lore for the channel either. It's like the rap battle version of Carnival, though honestly, I'd love to see how Kanye would do versus the Jacks and every other fictional person and Kurt Cobain on there. In the comments, you can see that for a lot of people, this was their childhood, and honestly, I see it with all the creepypasta references. It's always cool to see your favorite character have any kind of representation. It's why people still want Goku in Smash Brothers. Now, from your favorite Jack to your favorite sentient peanut, the reason I bring up this video is that this is proof that they were seeking out bigger and better projects, because prior to this video, they were sort of in the ERB format of just sort of releasing formulaic battles back and forth, and that's it. But this was expanding outside of the Epic Rap Battle bubble. It's hard to imagine the parody channel going beyond anything besides just an exact Epic Rap Battle clone, though all of their other videos match up against ERB with their format. The only difference is budgeting, and a few other numerous differences I'm not going to mention. Here, they completely scrapped the format and made their own original thing, and even though I'm not really sure how I feel about a 15-minute rap battle, I think for the time this was great, because there wasn't another huge creepypasta battle royale, and to this day I think it's the only one, or at least the only well-known one I could find. All my searches trying to find anything on the same scale just led to horror rap battles with Sonic versus the Mandela Catalog, or Mandela Catalog versus Matt's Headroom, so they get points for forging their own path. And when it comes to forging their path, this is why we now turn our heads to Season 4 and 5. So here, I think this is definitely where they started to carve out their own niche, or at least feel comfortable in the format of the videos they were doing. Everything is much more stylized and just more intelligent with the writing and better acting. It's almost like Laughing Jack versus Eilish Jack was like the big canon event for these guys, to really have them figure out what they were good at and how everything worked for them. All of these battles, for one, involve history, or most of them anyway, as opposed to their earlier work, which would have matchups like L versus Light. I think the different character backgrounds they chose just give a lot more room to have more interesting bars as opposed to fiction versus fiction. The matchups are just better for the series, in my opinion. In addition, none of these stand out as fan-made. I think if they had the same budget as ERB at this point in their career, I think they could have done some crazier stuff to definitely, at the very least, match Epic Rap Battles of History, and if you're not willing to give me that, then you could agree they'd at least be able to match their earlier output. Now, Season 5 actually kind of hit this. Granted, I don't know if it's budget related or what, but everything is just much higher quality. To the animations, to the effects, to the ideas. Look at Gray Man from LSD Simulator fighting Springtrap from Five Nights with Freddy's. It's like I'm really there with a figment of LSD facing off with the man behind the slapper. Honestly, they found their footing, and I'm thrilled for them, because I'd much rather watch their videos as opposed to the original, just because I have no clue what I'm in for. Though you may be thinking, how do I know they've successfully usurped Epic Rap Battles of History? It's still a bunch of random guys. There's no Nice Peter, there's no Epic Lloyd. Though I do like Epic Lloyd. I think any channel would improve with Epic Lloyd's contribution. Let's make a comparison now between two videos of the same battle they made that aren't Mozart versus Skrillex. How can they even rap anyway? Aren't they just animals? Okay, let's talk about the Epic Rap Battles of History version first. You may notice that unlike every other battle they've made, this one relies solely on CGI for everything, as opposed to any practical effects. You may also notice that it's difficult to understand anything Godzilla is saying. I'm not going to lie, without the bottom text on that screen, I would not be talking about this because I cannot understand any of Godzilla's verses. You may also notice that King Kong just kinda yells, especially with the way he pronounces anyway. They're going at it on the track, saying how they're both big bad monsters, the other guy is lamer, and they fight and the battle ends. Pretty standard stuff, though what I think breaks it down is the song isn't very good, in my opinion either. I just do not enjoy listening to this. Compare this to Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates. I'm not nuts about this one either, but they're in character, the beat's catchy, the visual value is higher even though it looks significantly lower budget. Everything about the Godzilla throwdown looks like something I'd see in a TikTok. You can still have a massive budget for anything and it'd be terrible. Case in point, Red 1. I saw that this Christmas, I would not recommend it. Red 1 has guaranteed end of November of 2025, we'll see a Christmas movie watch list from yours truly because on how bad Red 1 is, and I'm sick of people telling me to watch Die Hard every year for the rest of my life. I'm going to level with you though. Godzilla's verses are the equivalent to me in my head as this alien meme that trended a while back. Now let's talk about the parody version, which was released on the same day. Is this peak? Honestly, this is perfect. Genuinely, it is such a good critique of the epic rap battles of history version. Part of me wishes their whole channel was just them remaking every epic rap battle video, but just like this. King Kong properly brings up criticism for those awful looking VFX, though in all fairness, he looks terrible in this battle. Godzilla brings up the absurdity of even having this rap battle in the first place, and the entire thing just feels like a terrible movie advertisement that only like 12 people know about. My favorite part has to be how they did the same thing as epic rap battles with their effects, but it looks less cheap because they embraced how cheap it is. Genuinely, they annihilated epic rap battles at their own game in the same day with a version of their battle that just embraces how stupid this is as opposed to trying to play it straight like the ERB video. These channels are at their best when they happen to be peak cinema through intense storytelling, songs that go hard, or when they embrace the absurdity and comedic narrative of being a parody unto itself. And Epic Rap Battle Parodies perfectly handles this absurdity with this battle. I mean, the mumble rapping. I can't even handle the mumble rapping without laughing. Let's talk about their best work. Who is Vosh? I am going to level with you. I have somewhat of an idea after researching for this video, but now I gotta explain a bit about me. I'm chronically online in the way I like to have a build in every game I play, and I am invested in the lore of Alisa, which is a video you can watch on my channel now, and my interest is in video games, language, music, and anything else you see on my channel or second channel. Whoever Vosh is nowadays makes political content, has a weird thing with horses, and other than that, I don't know anything else about his stuff. I saw a bunch of clips, but the horse thing alone has made me hesitant to even look into it, and I feel kind of dirty even mentioning him in this video, just because there is so much baggage and people talking about him, I don't want to get involved. Why do we bring up Vosh? Well, he's in the rap battle with Smosh, who need no introduction. They're the YouTube funny guys, and what draws them to conflict is their names rhyme, and they're both on YouTube. This unironically might be one of my favorite battles I watched for this video. It's hilarious. They did so much research and really nailed the mannerisms of both Vosh, because yes, I did have to watch some of Vosh to understand who he was in this battle. Granted, Smosh is the exact same as I remember them from when I was a kid. It's clever, funny, and unlike every other epic rap battle of history that kind of ignores internet culture, except for a joke, this one embraces internet culture as the joke, and it makes it feel like a modern comedy. There's just something so poetic watching these full-grown men go head-to-head with all the 2000s nostalgia I have in me. And it's even more poetic how there's an analog horror segment at the end of the video because Vosh's weird association with horses, it's actually kind of fucked. Everything about this just oozes creativity, which is awesome, because I think my biggest complaint with Epic Rap Battles of History, you know, the channel that created all of these other ones, just lost a lot of its spark with all their videos coming out. I just don't feel like they're the same like passionate or energetic team that brought the originals, and I thought it was present mainly in their earlier work. Maybe I haven't watched the new seasons enough, maybe I'm being cynical, but there's just something nice about seeing these guys take the idea of epic rap battles of history and spin it into something better, making stuff like Vosh vs. Smosh or Godzilla vs. King Kong. It's really funny. They really knew what they were doing. Alright, before I go back and lay down because I'm very sick, and before I also serve you all supper with the rap battle I have been cooking for this whole video, I have a short shout out list of people who descended from ERB that I didn't really cover in detail. I didn't include every channel I saw since there's so many, but I included most of the ones that came up. I can say for fact, with the exception of Animeme Season 2, I think everyone in the video has either exceeded Epic Rap Battles of History at some point, or at the very least did something better. I just don't have enough time to talk about everyone, so here's some people I missed you most likely have heard of, or to check out. Freshy Canal, he went from watching concerts to making concerts. He made Squid Game vs. Mr. Beast, which has my all-time favorite character in any media, Seong Gi-hoon. A buddy of mine showed me the battles, saying how the front man won and that he had found their channel and liked it a lot, which gave me the idea for this video. My favorite might be Spot versus Gaster, though I don't particularly like either character, I just like the beat and how they're going at it. There's Snakebite126. He made Judge Holden versus Am, or the Wendigoon video essay special. I'd say it's very faithful to both Blood Meridian and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. As somebody who once had to take classes in school and had to read books, I can say that it's a very faithful recreation, it's a very fun battle, and I enjoyed it as somebody who knows both media. There's Discord Rap Battles. They've done fantastic work. Jekyll and Hyde versus the Invisible Man battle excels at the storytelling aspect, which is something I didn't really touch on. With their name being Discord Rap Battles, I thought it'd be something like
Dream versus Rosa Parks. You were always in the back and I was always in the front.
There's not any relation to my knowledge, I just find that clip funny, I wanted to show it off. Here's Cam Steady, he went from Minecraft Steven from Minecraft to Crazy Music Career. I remember him from video game rap battles, making such hits like Slenderman vs. Herobrine, going on to make actual hits like Baldi's Basics vs. Slenderman. Nowadays though, he just makes raps about whatever he finds interesting, and he's had quite the glow up since his initial days of being in these rap battles. If any of these subjects interest you, you might like them. It kind of gives me Stupendium vibes, but their music has such a different sound to it, I don't think that's a great comparison, but check him out if you'd want to. Eddie FRB is actually a real one, because he is an MF Doom fan, and I also like MF Doom. I know he's an MF Doom fan because he made Doofenshmirtz vs. Dr. Doom, where he had Doom be MF Doom instead, which was a preferred change I enjoyed. He also introduced me to Peso Pete in his videos. He's my favorite of the rappers I see on all these channels since they tend to do a lot of collaborations in terms of flow. The only downside is I don't think I've ever seen him win any of the battles he's been in, which is a shame, but he'll get there one day. He's responsible for such roles as Tricky the Clown, who I have no idea who that guy is, or the Flying Dutchman, and he's also responsible for being the Company in Lethal Company and something for Freshy Canal. But anyway, check out Eddie, he's great, and check out Peso as well. This guy made Vanny vs. Spamton, and yeah, I'm not an expert on either of these guys or their main franchises, but I really enjoyed that one, and I think he makes good rap videos, and for Spamton's verse in that one, he used samples from all the other rap battle channels that they had made, and I think that's fun, creative, and a way to kind of keep that community interconnected. He's worth checking out if you like this stuff. This is my all-time favorite of the video. It's We Scheme. By pure chance, when making this video, I discovered Jigsaw vs. Willy Wonka, which is probably my favorite battle of all time. It perfectly understood the parody aspect on what this had become with the sign and all, and the flow was fantastic, and the actual song, I really enjoy listening to it. I'd listen to it unironically if I didn't feel insane doing that. Now, We Scheme is different than the other people on this channel. He has covered countless rap battles. It's insane how many videos he has talking about the actual epic rap battles of history, even though I consider the battles he did make just a lot better in terms of writing and not getting stale after watching 3 of them. Though if you check out the latest video on his channel, you'll see that he has ascended this mortal plane. He left this channel behind, and it's a shame, because honestly I really liked his videos he made talking about music that weren't the rap battles. He reminds me a lot of Todd in the Shadows, and the internet could use more people reviewing music in that style. Scheme is a fantastic entertainer and musical artist, and even though he left to move on to better things, I'm thankful that I found his channel through some random rap battle he made, and just like everyone else on this list, I think a lot of good has come from the children of epic rap battles of history being unleashed on the internet. Bon appetit, my friends. That means good eats in French. I'm recording this a lot later than the rest of the footage, and as a result, I've done far more research than I ever thought I would for this video after the rest of it had been recorded. I spent a few weeks being sick, and as a result, I spent a few weeks listening to all the fan-made rap battles I could find. I hope this video doesn't come off as harsh to any of these creators, because these videos are really what YouTube is all about. Everybody who's contributed to this genre had a real love for both music, media, and making their own interpretation on how the rap battles would even go down with these characters. I'm a little jealous I'm not in any of these, just a little. And the rap battles are something to celebrate. From your lowest subpar rap battles of YouTube to the highest budgeted premium Mr. Beast level fights. There's something here creatively to enjoy with everybody in this video. Some of these are dated and just goofy, but they're real. They're real people expressing themselves musically and personally, and I'm happy they're all out here for us to enjoy. With the exception of Shane Dawson's Nyan Cat. You'll be hard-pressed to find better examples of creative writing and expression in 3 minutes, along with some fantastic world-bending editing. And yeah, sure, you can show it to people and they'll be like, yeah, that's cringe, but at the end of the day, they made something they liked. They liked it enough to share it with you, with their own attempt at making something for others to enjoy. And there's nothing cringe about that. There's too many out there for me to discuss in one video, so I encourage you to check out any of these creators you think you'd like. Give them a like and a sub and let them know that it's cool that they made these. I'm not going to pretend I understand most of them, be it the character backgrounds or the lore or the themes, but I understand that's art. And I'm happy that because John Lennon and Bill O'Reilly fought back in the day, we now have a very expansive family tree of great musicians, comedians, editors, and writers now doing what they love and sharing it with the world for all of us to enjoy. There's something just real sweet and special, especially going back and watching all of these people's like earliest videos to what they made now and seeing like the end result of all of their effort and their growth. Like they really have a channel history they can like appreciate with everything they've built up and improved upon and just how much they've grown musically. And it's great you can even go through these and see their creative ideas in action. I'm just so happy that everybody here is doing what they love and sharing it with the world. That's everything I have to say. It's one big Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in YouTube for fictional versus fictional or non-fiction versus fiction verbal throwdowns. It's a big universe, so I'm sure eventually if you keep looking, you'll find one battle that you like. Check out everybody in this video if you liked what you saw of them. Animeme is dead, maybe for the best, maybe not, probably for the best, but they still have Yo Mama, and sorry for the delay with everything. I was really sick. I'm not 100%, but I'm a lot better, and that delayed both the Titanfall video and this one, but I'm feeling good enough now, and I'm doing what I love too. And on that note, I love you all. Like, subscribe. I have social media. You can check that out. And please behold my magnum opus rap battle.
Epic Rap Battles of History. The Completionist versus YouTube.
It's the most game it's ever been. It's a game that's filled with tons of bad actors that get away with a lot, and those actions affect everyone, big and small. And this year was one that honestly